Hi there, my name is Katie and this is the How to Be a Minimalist YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. You might be able to tell that it is raining. You probably will hear it because we live in an RV if you couldn't tell, and yeah, you can kind of hear everything. So it's raining, but I am gonna get these videos out, and so I hope you just kind of feel like you're in the RV with me. In today's video, I want to talk to you about intentional living. I was interested in intentional living way before I was actually interested in minimalism. I know that might kind of sound weird, but all of these different things pretty much led me to minimalism, and intentional living was definitely one of them. I really wanted to practice intentional living, and I found that I couldn't because I basically was surrounded by stuff. And that is when it occurred to me that if I had less stuff, I would be able to actually do the things that I wanted to do and live intentionally in the way that I wanted to. So they went hand in hand. Honestly, I couldn't do one without the other. I feel like living intentionally means that you practice getting rid of the waste in your life, and in that way it is very similar to minimalism. I think with minimalism you really kind of need intentions because it doesn't seem to stick if you don't have them. If you don't know why you're practicing minimalism, if you don't know what you want to get out of it, it's much less likely that you'll get out of it what you want. I want to talk about some of the beautiful things about intentional living right now. I would say that one of the best ways we can implement intentional living into our minimalistic experiences and lives is by making sure that we don't just declutter our stuff, but making sure that we also declutter our minds and our schedules, and making sure that we even declutter foods that are not good for us or relationships that are not good for us from our lives. I would say that's probably the first step in living really intentionally. Another important step is to make sure that we look at the long term. Kind of like what I was saying earlier, what do you want to get out of living intentionally? What do you want to get out of living a minimalistic life? If you don't know why you are doing it, then it's really hard to continue doing something. Just the same as I have set intentions for my health journey and things like that, I have also set intentions for minimalism, and intentional living is one of those intentions. I know that kind of sounds funny, but it's true. Like, I want to get out of minimalism practicing living intentionally. So I basically just really am aware of what I am doing, and a lot of times I see waste in my actions, and I want to just change those things so that I can have more time to spend with my family, to go hiking. I want to spend more time making sure that I get a chance to read and write and also play games with my family. Ticket to Ride is not sponsoring this, or the company, whoever made this game is not sponsoring this video, but we pulled this out the other day and we basically have played, I think, 5 games in the last 2 days. It is so much fun. It doesn't really matter what game you're playing though. It might be a little addictive. It's fun, and we're having moments and memories are being built. That is something that's really important to me. In the end, looking at the long term, what do I really want to get out of the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, my life? Those things have all changed the way that I practice minimalism and live more intentionally. I think it's pretty easy to get into a hustle mindset. It's just, I don't know, the internet makes everything so fast. It makes messaging and communicating with others very quick and easy, and just having so much access can make our lives just kind of go by really fast, and sometimes I think it's really important to slow down. So intentional living, knowing that's something that I want to get out of it, it helps me to be mindful, to take a moment to really sit down and communicate with my loved ones. It makes me take a moment to just have a cup of tea or do anything that's just slow living, very quiet, even just stretching or meditating, something that takes time and kind of quiet time. One of my goals that I want to set for next year is walking for solidarity. I read about it in Digital Minimalism. I might have mentioned it in my video on digital minimalism, which, I don't know, was a few videos back if you want to look for it. But basically, walking for solidarity, I just sometimes want peace and just quiet and just to be completely alone. Living in an RV with my 2 kids, my 3 pets, and my husband, it's really hard to find a moment to be alone. When it's rainy outside, it's really hard to go out. But I want to make time, rain or shine, to go walking for that kind of peace and that slowness, and just to have that moment in my day where things are just quiet. I think it's really important. I think we need a rest sometimes, and that's kind of how I'm hoping to get a rest. These are some things that I want to get out of living intentionally, but there are so many different ways in which we can live intentionally. Maybe it's with the way that you spend your money. Maybe you really want to be present when you're hanging out with your friends. You can apply it to so much, and it's wonderful, but you can also just say, you know, I want to do something a little bit better and in a more meaningful way. Finding different ways to apply intentional living for me has just made my life much more valuable, and it's made me a more centered and happier, more peaceful person. Sometimes I think that fear of missing out kind of makes us want to say yes to everything and to be, you know, checking social media all the time, or just to be busy all the time. And it's hard. I've definitely experienced that whole like, well, if I don't go and do this thing with these people, then I'll be missing out on something, or I won't be included, or whatever. Thing is though, I've also learned about myself, and that I can't say yes to everything. It drives me batty, and that also usually ends up just making me less accessible and less centered. It makes me not as ready to really be present when it comes to the things that really matter in my life. All in all, taking a moment to see what I really want to do with my life has made intentional living so much more important to me, and it's made my life more valuable. So it's been a really happy practice for me personally. There are a lot of things that go hand in hand with minimalism, but I can't think of something that goes better with minimalism than intentional living. If you really want to practice minimalism, you should really be practicing your intentions and figuring out what they are, or else your minimalism will be a lot less meaningful. It will just end up being about stuff. And how many items can you get rid of? How many items do you have left? And in the end, our items aren't just in our homes because we wanted to buy them. There are emotional attachments. There are all kinds of things that are attached to our possessions, and there are some that have value, and there are some that just have a lot of negative value. When we figure out what our intentions are, it usually makes minimalism so much easier to practice, and we get out of it what we really want. I hope that this video helps you maybe to think of something that you can have as an intention in your life, or gives you just a little bit of inspiration to head that direction, because it's just made such a huge impact on my life personally. Please don't forget to like this video. It really helps the channel to grow, and also don't forget to subscribe. That way you can get more videos like this one. I hope you have a great day, and remember, it's all about the experiences, not the stuff.